What's up, everybody? I'm Fran Mirabella here with Richard Marks, who is the director of the PlayStation Magic Lab. I got that right, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
And he's brought Project Morpheus with him. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's new here at E3 and just recap, really what Morpheus is all about. So I actually think that's a great place to start. So it's gone through some resolution changes, some upgrades, and it's a work still in progress. Can you just bring us up to speed?
Sure. Well, at GDC we announced a lot of new features, the new hardware features. So the screen improved, the field of view improved, the ergonomics improved, all these things. And then we also announced it's launching in the first half of 2016. And then at E3 we're announcing more content. We're showing lots of different game experiences you can do with it. And also we did have one feature that we announced, which is the social screen we have for Morpheus, where so you can be playing inside, but other people can see what you're doing on the TV.
Oh, right.
Or a developer can show something completely different on the TV, and you can have like an asymmetric gameplay where other people in the room with you, they're playing whatever they're seeing on the TV.
Right, they can almost play with you and be like, no, there's this other thing coming at you or whatever it is.
Right.
Are there any games that
or against you, they can actually do stuff against you.
Oh, that's interesting. Is there any game on the show floor now that utilizes that?
Yeah,
there is. What's an example of that?
It's called Playroom VR. It's like by the makers of the Playroom experience. That is for the regular PS4. They have a experience where it's like 4 players have DualShocks and then the other guy has just the Morpheus headset.
What are they doing though, like roughly?
So the person with the headset on is like a giant monster, and then they're being chased by the monster, then they capture it and turn around and fight it.
But the audience outside of the Morpheus is doing what?
Yeah, they're a bunch of little guys that are running around being chased by the monster, and then they stop and they actually attack the monster.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's bringing these new interesting ideas to gaming. If we could go back just a little bit on the tech side, specifically, what is the resolution of Morpheus? And
so it's 1920 by 1080 by an RGB for every pixel. So it's full 1080, and then that's shared between your 2 eyes, and then there's a 100-degree field of view, and it's very low persistence. And then the other big thing, the super thing, is it's a 120 frames per second display, so it's really fast display. And games can run it, they can render things at 120, or they can render at 60, and then the system software will automatically convert it to 120 using what we call reprojection.
What is it?
Reprojection.
Reprojection.
So it fills in the in-between frames automatically.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then this is is it going to be a wireless headset, or is it going to plug in?
Yeah, so it plugs in to the PlayStation 4, basically. The whole system plugs in through the USB and the HDMI port.
But you pretty much just plug in, either download a game or have it on disc and you're good to go?
Yeah, just like any kind of game. As long as you have the headset, you're ready to play.
Are you working on more improvements to the technology at this point, or do you feel like it's where it needs to be?
The major features are done. We're still doing some small detail changes to have it get ready for mass production, but this is pretty much what we're going to launch.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the games. You've had some announcements. Riggs, for example, is from Guerrilla, right?
Right.
The folks making now, if you've heard about it, Horizons Zero Dawn. Is that the same studio effectively, or is it a separate studio?
They're in different places, but the same ownership and run by the same head.
Yeah, so that was interesting. You guys describe it as an entry into esports, is that right?
Yeah, well, it feels like an esports kind of game because it's like a 3 versus 3 kind of a situation. It's set up well to do that.
Yeah.
And it's all played over the network against people. And having somebody else in VR with you is a really cool thing. So they're like in the same physical space as you. You can talk to them and interact with them.
Yeah, I mean, could you walk up and talk to them in that virtual space effectively?
Yeah.
Like see their character face to face, right?
Well, so it depends what they do with the characters, but so some avatar kind of version of it, yeah.
Okay, cool. And so I had a question about that, is why I brought it up. I was going somewhere with this. My first impression was, man, if I'm leaping into air, and you probably hear this a lot about Morpheus, like, don't you think people are going to get motion sickness from this stuff? I know that's, you're not on message to say, yeah, absolutely. But maybe a better way to put it is, does it take some time to adjust to playing games like that? Are there more advanced games versus the simpler games? Or
Well, for sure, the games that that you do less in, as far as motion, have less effect on your system. But basically, by having such a high resolution and high refresh rate and low persistence of display, and low latency, a lot of those effects have been removed that people have experienced maybe with other systems.
Those technology improvements help a lot with that.
And another really big one for people who have tried only VR that doesn't do full 6 degree of freedom tracking, so it just does rotation. Some VR systems are like that. having the full position tracking actually reduces a lot of those feelings as well. So being able to see things move exactly in the right way as they should is a much better experience.
Okay. All right, well, we got to wrap things up, but the very last question is, what is next for Morpheus? When will we hear more, and what can we look forward to?
Well, I think we're showing all these experiences at E3. So that's our big thing, is show this. And then we have, like, Paris Game Show is another big thing coming pretty soon. So, and we always are at the Tokyo Game Show showing things. So
we should keep our eyes peeled for those events, it sounds like. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time today, and thank everybody for watching today. And as always, for all things Morpheus, PlayStation, and everything in between, keep it locked here at IGN.